There is so much space in tech, and don't let anybody lie to you that there isn't. So there is definitely enough space for you. Hi, I'm Tomi Madarikan, and today I'm going to be talking about the importance of self-advocacy in tech. First of all, please like this video if it appeals to you, comment down below, and also subscribe to this channel, Decrypted by Us, to get more information about our content, updates, new videos, etc. This particular video is actually geared primarily towards Black women. As a Black woman in tech, I felt very underrepresented and just not advocated for or catered to. And I'm speaking about my experience, or I'm speaking from the lens of my experience about some things I wish I knew earlier, because they definitely would have been advantageous and I would have struggled a lot less. So I feel as though because of how underrepresented I felt, I experienced a lot of imposter syndrome. And I also put a lot of pressure on myself at the same time to be perfect. So I convinced myself that I didn't deserve to be in certain spaces, while also trying to force myself to prove to myself and everyone around me that I did. I also felt really uncomfortable asking for help because of this. I felt like it meant that I was a failure, that I didn't deserve to be in these spaces, and I just want to say, this is not true. It is okay for you to not understand academic material, for you to not know how to navigate spaces that you haven't been in before, for you to not feel comfortable. It is okay. So the first tip that I would say is that you should feel liberated to demand as much from your environment as you do from yourself. Society requires Black women to put a lot of pressure on themselves to even have a chance at a lot of the same things that other people are kind of just given. So I feel as though one means of emancipation can be actively trying to demand as much from your environment as you demand from yourself. In ways that you can, try to require your environment to see you, to cater to you. And that means putting yourself out there, to ask for help and actually believing that maybe you just might get it. Unfortunately, that may not always happen, but it is good to if you're struggling with an academic assignment, email the professor, find out if you can get an extension. Going to TA hours and requiring that you get help when you need it from your TAs. If you're working and you don't understand something, or you want to get involved in a project, reach out to someone who might be involved. Make friends who could help you with that. Reach out to your manager to find out about extra opportunities. Go to club meetings for people with similar interests. Go to mixes where you may find other Black people in tech, other people of color in tech. I think that it's super important not to allow yourself to feel so anxious that you become insular, because that's definitely something that I experienced. I felt like I didn't deserve to be in certain spaces, and I also had my guard up a lot. So that meant that I just didn't put myself out there as much as I would have liked. Another important thing I have found is to show yourself grace. It's okay if it takes you time to figure something out. It's okay if you find out that a certain skill is not your strong suit. I remember there'd be times where I couldn't get a certain project to work the way I wanted it to, and I would just sit there debugging for 6 hours straight, which wasn't really debugging. It was kind of just me fixating on something I couldn't get to work and convincing myself that until I could get it to work, I didn't deserve to get up and do the next thing. I beat myself up about certain things a lot. So something that really helped me get past that was remind myself that I'm only in competition with myself, by which I mean I don't need to work at the same pace as any other imaginary student or fellow co-worker. And if it takes you hours to figure something out, that's okay, but it's also okay to realize that you've maybe spent more time than you would like on something, and reach out to somebody who can help you to make the process go faster. We don't only want to be working hard. Life is hard enough. It's okay to also work smart. And then also, I would recommend that you don't define yourself by your successes and or failures. I don't really like the word failure, but failure setbacks. So don't define yourself by things that don't work out in the timeline that you would like, but also don't define yourself by things that do work out the timeline that you would like. I would have a small success and feel like, oh my gosh, yes, I have unlocked programming. I'm the best programmer ever. And then the next day when I wasn't so fortunate or so lucky, my self-esteem would plummet. Being a software engineer or working in tech or being interested in tech, these things are wonderful, but they're only a part of who we are. And it's important to not define ourselves by how good we are at object-oriented programming or how much we know about mobile development, So yeah, don't define yourself by your successes and or your failures, setbacks, or your skill sets or the lack thereof. It's also okay to not know stuff. It is okay to not even know where you can learn this stuff. I was also really worried when it came to applying for jobs because I felt like everybody else knew what sites to go and do interview prep on or what fellowships to apply to, and I just didn't know about any of it. I didn't even know what companies were offering internships, and I felt like I was so behind. Again, reminding yourself that you're only in competition with who you want to be and not with anybody else. There is so much space in tech, and don't let anybody lie to you that there isn't. So there is definitely enough space for you, and that means that you should also make space for yourself in the ways that you can. Unfortunately, the world doesn't allow us Black women to do that in every way, but when we have the power to advocate for ourselves in some of the ways that I've outlined, and even more that I'm sure you can think of, we should definitely try to take advantage of that, because we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our mental health, we owe it to our financial health, we owe it to our interpersonal health and well-being. One last really important thing that actually just came to mind as I said that: do not keep people around you that detract from your well-being, from your happiness. So if you have friends around you that actually tear you down, if you have like any influences around you that you can control, by which I mean you can choose to or not to subscribe to, and you feel like those influences are unhealthy, do some spring cleaning, because life is too short to be around people and things that don't make you happy. And yeah, please comment if you can think of any other ways that Black women can advocate for themselves in these spaces. I hope that this has been useful, and I hope that you have a blessed day and a blessed time in tech.